So I just went on a walk, and while I was on the walk, I was just looking around at nature and enjoying seeing the birds and the trees. And I started thinking about dimensions and how we are ascending into a new dimension, what we would call the 5D, the fifth dimension. And so I was thinking and contemplating on how do I help people understand what it means to move into a new dimension. Because a lot of us have this idea that shifting into a different dimension is basically leaving something fully behind that we can perceive and understand right now. So as we are ascending, we're not necessarily losing our ability to see and relate and understand the 3D world. We are ascending into a frequency more aligned with our consciousness into a 5D thinking. So I want you to think about the ocean. The ocean has multi-layers about it. There's deep layers of the ocean that humans cannot go to. There's layers above that. There's layers above that. There's layers above that. It's so deep that we cannot comprehend it. Think about the things that live at the bottom of the ocean. Their concept of reality is completely different than the concept of reality of, say, a dolphin or a shark or a whale or something that lives a little bit closer to the surface of the ocean. Those beings, those mammals or fish or animals, have a perspective about their reality much different than a deep sea squid, let's say. And so what is happening as we ascend is our perception of reality is shifting. And so we are getting a new idea of how to relate with ourselves and the world around us. And that is shifting the way that we connect with the world around us. And this is why ascending can be difficult sometimes, because at one point we may have hung out with the squids at the deep sea, and then we ascended into the next level, and therefore we're communicating at a different frequency. So we don't resonate with that lower frequency anymore. But here's the cool thing, is the ocean is all one dimension. It's just different layers within that dimension that we can move into. So you could be in the third dimension and still have a higher frequency than other people. That is a conscious frequency and not necessarily a physical frequency, because the higher, or what we would call higher frequency that you go into, the less physical things become. So I want you to move even further up to the very top of the ocean. And what do you see at the top of the ocean? You see birds. You see different animals that can swim on top of water, but maybe not go into the water. So there's different ways of relating to one dimension. Once you get above water, there's the air, and then the air has different layers. So you shift from breathing the air that we all breathe to a higher frequency. Say you go up on a mountain, that frequency shifts because it's a different altitude. And then you can move even higher, like get into a plane where you have to be protected because your physical body can't contain that amount of pressure. So the physical body shifts the higher the frequency becomes. And this is what ascension's like. It's not that they're all separate. It's the continuation of one thing. It's a continuation of the universe and how it all is one, but we perceive it in different ways from the reality in which we reside in, from the frequency that we are connected to at that moment. And this is why the birds cannot relate or really truly communicate with the sharks of the ocean or the squid of the ocean, but they can communicate with one another. The dolphins probably don't associate or communicate with the lower like those really low beings in the deep sea ocean, but they can have the same understanding and reality of being in the water and living in water. So I hope this makes a little bit sense about how we can perceive different dimensions and what it's like to ascend. And as we keep ascending and as we continue to raise our vibration, how our relation to the world around us shifts and changes, and how maybe the things that we once related to or the people we once related to are not as easily something we can connect with, which can be hard. But just understand that this is all the process of us moving back into more closely aligned with our true self, our higher self, the reality in which we came from. And Earth's frequency is moving into more of a love vibration instead of a conflicting vibration.